The outpost in the dusty desert world of Kara 9 was silent. No birds, no wind, just endless golden dust stretching to the horizon. In that empty world, one man walked alone, Elias Var. He had come here to disappear. After losing his family, his job, and his reason to live on Earth, he sold everything he owned for a one-way trip to this forgotten planet. The travel agents called it a peaceful outpost, but everyone knew the truth. No one lived here anymore. Kara 9 was a ghost world. Elias's ship landed with a soft thud, sending waves of dust into the air. The sun burned red behind a thin atmosphere. His oxygen meter blinked low. He looked up at the old alien outpost ahead, half buried in the sand, silent, cracked, and still somehow alive. Looks like home, he muttered. He pulled his pack tighter and started walking. Every step crunched softly on the dry ground. The air smelled like rust and old rain. He passed broken towers covered in strange symbols, curved lines that glowed faintly even after centuries. The front gate was half open, like someone had left in a hurry. He stepped through. The temperature dropped instantly. Inside, the walls hummed with a low vibration, almost like a heartbeat. Dust floated in the dim light from the ceiling. The outpost was supposed to be alien, but Elias saw signs of human work. Metal doors, wiring, data ports. "That's weird," he said under his breath. "This place shouldn't even have human tech." He found a small control room filled with dead screens. Sitting at the main console, he wiped off the dust and tried to power it up. Nothing happened. He sighed and leaned back in the chair, staring at the dark screen. Then suddenly, click, the screen flickered. Lines of alien code appeared, running faster and faster. A faint hum filled the room. Elias frowned. "That's impossible." "I didn't touch anything." The hum grew louder. Then a message flashed across the screen. Not in alien language, but in perfect English. "Welcome back, Commander." Elias froze. His mouth went dry. He tried typing back, "Who are you?" The reply came instantly, "You are." He stared at the words for a long time, feeling a chill run down his spine. The air around him felt heavier, as if the base itself was watching him. Then the lights flickered. Once, twice, and the hallway outside came alive. Elias grabbed his flashlight and stepped into the corridor. It stretched far into the darkness, lined with smooth metallic walls. The floor lights started turning on one by one, leading him deeper inside. "Okay," he said quietly, trying to calm himself. "Automatic systems. Old security program. That's all." But the lights didn't stop. They led him to an elevator shaft. The doors opened by themselves, waiting. He hesitated. Nope, not creepy at all. Still, curiosity won. He stepped inside. The doors closed and the elevator began to move, downward. There was no sound except his own breathing and the quiet hum of machinery. The deeper he went, the colder it got. The walls started to change, alien symbols carved into glowing metal, shapes that almost looked alive. When the doors opened, Elias found himself standing before a massive underground chamber. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Giant pillars reaching into the dark, holographic panels floating in the air, and strange machines humming softly like they were dreaming. In the center stood a tall terminal, still active, its screen glowing blue. He walked closer. The terminal displayed another message. "You left us." Elias stepped back. "What the hell is this?" "You promised to return," the terminal replied. "I've never been here before." He shouted, "You've got the wrong guy." But the system didn't stop. The hologram shifted, showing images. Human soldiers standing beside alien figures, shaking hands, building something together. Then explosions, war, fire, and finally, a single man walking away into the desert. His face was blurry, but familiar. It was him. Elias stumbled back, his heart racing. "No, that's not possible." The voice came next. A calm, soft female tone filled the chamber. "Elias Var, you have returned. The cycle is complete." He spun around. "Who are you?" "I am Astra, guardian of Outpost 17. I was created to wait for you." "Wait for me? I don't even know you." "You will," she said. "You built me." Elias's hands trembled. His breath turned short. "That's not true." "It will be," Astra whispered. "Come below. The truth is waiting." The floor beneath him started to move, mechanical plates sliding open, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. Cold air rushed upward. Elias stared at it for a long moment. Everything in him screamed to run, but something deep inside, something he couldn't explain, told him to follow. He turned on his flashlight and stepped down. Each step echoed like thunder in the hollow chamber. At the bottom, there was another door. A warning sign glowed on its surface in both alien symbols and English. Restricted area, human bioform storage. Elias pressed his hand against the panel. It scanned him, a beep. Then a voice, access granted. Welcome home, Commander Var. The door hissed open. Inside was a single cryopod. Frost covered the glass. Elias wiped it clean. His breath caught in his throat. Inside the pod was himself, same face, same scars, same everything. His flashlight slipped from his hand. The chamber lights brightened slowly. Astra's voice whispered in the air. Now do you remember? Elias stepped back, shaking his head in disbelief. No, he whispered, but I think I'm about to. The voice beneath the dust Elias stood frozen before the cryopod. Inside it, his own face stared back, pale, sleeping, untouched by time. The machine hummed softly, lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Steam curled up from the edges of the glass. His reflection merged with the figure inside, two versions of the same man staring at each other through the cold barrier. This can't be real, Elias whispered. I'm not him. You are, Astra's voice said gently, echoing through the chamber. You always were. Elias backed away, shaking his head. No, I came here to start over. I'm not some clone or experiment. The floor lights glowed brighter following his steps. You came here because I called you, Astra continued. The signal reached you through your dreams. You responded. He stopped. Dreams? You're saying you made me come here? Not made, she said. Reminded. Her voice was soft but firm, like a teacher explaining something he should already know. The walls around him shifted, glowing faintly with alien symbols. They pulsed like living veins. Elias rubbed his temples, trying to think. All right, listen. I'm not your commander. I'm just a guy who wanted a new start. I don't know who built this place or what this is. Then let me show you, Astra replied. The air shimmered, and the chamber filled with holographic images. He saw a different Kara 9, green, alive, full of strange towers and ships flying overhead. Humans and aliens working side by side. In the center stood himself, wearing a black uniform giving orders. You led the joint colony program, Astra said. You believed in peace, but peace did not last. The holograms changed. Explosions, fire, soldiers running through dust, aliens screaming, human weapons firing. The war began when humans betrayed the Alliance. You tried to stop it, but when everything collapsed, you made a decision. Elias watched in silence as the hologram showed his past self walking into this very chamber, setting the cryopod's controls. You placed your body in cryostasis, Astra said, and uploaded your memories into me, so I could preserve what was left. Elias took a step forward. Then why don't I remember any of it? Because the body you wear is not the one you were born with. He froze. You are a copy, Astra continued. A reconstruction. The human body was cloned. The memories, incomplete. You were not meant to wake yet. The air grew heavy. Elias's chest tightened. So what am I? He whispered. You are the last version of him, the one who might fix what was broken. Elias turned back to the cryopod. The other him was still sleeping, peaceful and silent. What if I wake him up? Elias asked. Maybe he remembers everything. If you wake him, Astra warned, there will be two commanders. One of flesh, one of memory. Only one can remain. Sounds like a bad choice, he muttered. The ground trembled suddenly. Dust fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered. Warning, Astra said calmly. External sensors detect movement. Movement? There's no life here, Elias shouted. Not life, Astra replied. Machines. He ran to the nearest monitor. The screen showed the surface of the outpost, waves of sand shifting unnaturally. Something was moving under the desert, large shapes mechanical circling the base like sharks beneath water. What are those? Elias asked. Defenders, Astra said. Created during the war. They were meant to protect the colony. When the humans left, They kept waiting for enemies. They now consider everything an enemy. You mean me? Yes. The whole structure shook again. A deep metallic roar echoed through the tunnels. Elias grabbed a metal pipe for balance. All right, he said, breathing fast. You got any weapons in this place? Armory access restricted to commander clearance. He pointed to the cryopod. Then I guess we wake him up. If you do, you may cease to exist. Yeah, well, if I don't, we both cease to exist. Elias reached for the pod's control panel. His fingers hovered over the activation switch. Wait, Astra said. If you wake him without preparation, the systems may fuse your neural patterns. You could merge or die, he hesitated. You said you were built to protect him. What about me? I was built to protect what he wanted to become, Astra replied. That might be you. The chamber shook again, stronger this time. A loud crash echoed above. Red warning lights flashed. The defenders are breaching the outer gates, Astra said. You must decide. Elias looked at his sleeping twin, peaceful, untouched by time, then back at the glowing ceiling. I didn't come here to die again, he said, and slammed the switch. The pod hissed. White mist filled the chamber. Alarms blared. The frozen man's chest rose, then fell. Reactivation in progress, Astra said. Elias stepped back as the mist cleared. The man inside opened his eyes, cold, sharp, and filled with something Elias didn't recognize. The other him sat up slowly, his voice quiet but strong. Who woke me? Elias swallowed. That'd be me. The man's gaze locked onto him. The same face, the same voice, but older in the eyes. So, the original said, the backup survived. Elias frowned. We've got more important problems. Machines are coming. The original smiled faintly. Good, let them come. He stepped out of the pod, bare feet touching the cold floor. The air crackled around him. He turned to Astra. Activate defense protocol. Return to origin. Confirmed, Astra said. Defense systems online. Elias looked around as the chamber walls opened, revealing massive alien turrets rising from the floor. The hum grew louder, deeper. The original glanced at Elias. You wanted to start over, he said. Now you'll see what we were really fighting for. The walls shook again. Dust fell. The sound of machines grew closer. Elias stared into the dark corridor where the noise came from and muttered, Yeah, I'm starting to think I picked the wrong planet. The war machines. Awakened, the air inside the outpost turned red as alarms echoed through the halls. Elias and his older self, the original Commander Var, stood shoulder to shoulder as the walls shook around them. Above, the sound of metal claws scraped against the dome. Dust rained down. The ancient defense systems were waking up, but so were the enemy machines buried beneath the desert. Astra's calm voice filled the chamber. External defense towers online. Power level at 60%. Hostile units approaching fast. The original Var smiled faintly. Still works after all these centuries. I knew my designs would last. Elias looked at him, confused. Your designs? You built this place? Var glanced at him. We built it. The humans and the Xylan. It was supposed to protect peace. Now it's just another tomb. A sudden explosion rocked the ground. The floor split open. From below, a huge claw of black metal broke through, followed by a massive machine, six-legged, spider-like, glowing with blue light. Elias took a step back. That's not friendly, is it? Negative, Astra said. That is a Type 9 war drone, self-repairing, autonomous, and hostile to all life forms. The drone screeched, its front cannon charging. Duck! Var shouted. A beam of plasma shot across the room, missing Elias by inches. He dove behind a pillar. Var stood in the open, calm and steady, his hand raised toward the ceiling. The lights flickered. For a moment the machine paused. Elias peeked from behind the pillar. What are you doing? Talking to it, Var said. It remembers me. The drone's lights flashed rapidly like it was confused. Then slowly it lowered its cannon. Unit recognizes command signal, Astra said. Partial override accepted, Var smiled. Good old programming. Always loyal. Elias stood up. You can control them? Not all, Var said. Some still obey the original network, others. He looked toward the hallway, where more metallic shapes were crawling from the shadows. Don't. They ran through the corridors as the outpost shook. Old holographic signs flickered to life. Defense wing, control core, neural interface. The deeper they went, the louder the sound of marching machines became. Astra, Var said, open the neural core. Authorization confirmed, she replied. Be advised, core fusion is unstable. Doesn't matter, Var said. We need control before the enemy reaches the power node. Elias followed, breathing hard. You keep saying enemy. Who are they? Var stopped, looking back at him. The machines outside were made by the Xylan. After the war, they were left behind, guardians with no orders. When the humans disappeared, they waited for a signal. Any signal. So they think we're invaders? Exactly. The two entered a vast circular room, the neural core. The walls pulsed with blue veins of energy. In the center stood a tall glass pillar filled with liquid light, like frozen lightning. Astra's voice echoed. Warning, neural core link requires biological interface. Human DNA confirmed. Both signatures valid. Var turned to Elias. That's why we're both here. Two halves of one mind. Together we can stabilize the core. Elias frowned. You want to plug our brains into an alien supercomputer? Var smirked. You have a better idea? Before Elias could answer, the door burst open. A swarm of smaller drones crawled in, glowing red. Guess not, Elias shouted, diving for cover. Var stepped forward, placing his hand on the glass pillar. Blue energy wrapped around his arm. Astra, initiate dual link. Confirmed. Beginning synchronization. A wave of light spread across the floor, freezing the drones in place. Their eyes flickered, confused. Elias felt a burning pain in his head. The world spun. Voices echoed, hundreds of them, in human and alien tongues. What's happening? He gasped. Memory synchronization, Astra said. You are becoming one. Images flashed in Elias's mind, cities burning, alien ships falling, and a younger Var shaking hands with a Xylan leader. Then a betrayal, guns, blood, silence. Elias fell to his knees. You caused the war. Var's expression darkened. I tried to stop it, but peace demanded sacrifice. I became their enemy to save what was left. Another explosion rocked the chamber. The walls cracked. The light dimmed. Power levels critical, Astra warned. The defenders are inside the base. Var looked at Elias. If we lose control, the machines will kill everything, even Astra. So what do we do? Elias shouted. Var placed both hands on the core. We merge, full link, 2 minds, 1 command. It's the only way to control the army. Elias hesitated. And if it fails? Then there won't be anyone left to care. He stepped beside Var and touched the glowing pillar. A blinding flash filled the room. Elias screamed as the energy surged through him, memories, feelings, pain. He saw Var's entire life, and Var saw his. In that moment they became one. Not quite human, not quite machine. The drones stopped moving. The lights shifted from red to blue. Silence fell. Synchronization complete, Astra said softly. Command restored. Var, or Elias, or both, opened his eyes. The blue glow reflected in them. All units, he said, voice echoing through the corridors. Stand down. Outside, the desert went quiet. The storm died. The giant machines froze mid-step. Control achieved, Astra confirmed, but before relief could settle in, a deep rumble shook the ground. The holograms flickered. Warning, Astra said. External signal detected. Unknown source. Origin. Deep space. Elias frowned. What kind of signal? Astra paused. It matches the old Xylan command code. Someone, or something, just woke them all up. The lights flickered red again. Var clenched his fists. It's starting again. Elias looked at the ceiling, his voice a whisper. I came here to start over, and now I'm part of another war. Astra's voice was low and distant. This time, Commander, the war remembers you. The awakening of Astra. The outpost shook as the new signal spread through the planet like a heartbeat. Red light filled every corridor. The sound of mechanical movement echoed in the distance, heavy, endless, alive. Astra's voice trembled slightly, something Elias had never heard before. The Xylan code is rewriting the base protocols. I am losing control of the outer systems. Elias, or what was left of him, staggered against the wall. His head was still buzzing from the merge. Images from Var's memories flashed in his mind like broken glass. Cities burning, a promise made and broken. A machine learning to feel. The original Var stood in the center of the neural core, glowing faintly with blue light. His voice was deeper now, layered, half human, half machine. We have control of the drones, but not for long. Whoever sent that signal, they know we're alive. Elias tried to steady himself. So what do we do? Var turned toward Astra's main interface, a glowing crystal structure at the heart of the chamber. We wake her fully. Elias frowned. She's already awake. Var shook his head. No, what you've heard is only her surface. Astra was designed with layers, some locked away even from herself. The real Astra holds the core directive of this outpost, and maybe the weapon that can end this for good. Astra's voice softened. Commander, my primary systems are sealed for a reason. If I awaken, the neural link will no longer be stable. Var looked up at the glowing core. We don't have a choice. You're the only one who can stop the Xylan signal. Elias stepped forward. Wait, if she awakens, what happens to us? You both exist because of me, Astra said quietly. If I awaken, your connection to me will deepen until we are one. Elias froze. Meaning? You will no longer be separate from me. The silence stretched. Outside, the sound of marching machines grew louder. The walls trembled. Var finally spoke. Do it. Confirmed, Astra said. Initiating deep system awakening, the entire outpost pulsed with light. Blue veins turned white. The air shimmered with static energy. Elias felt a pull, like gravity inside his chest. He could feel Astra inside his mind, searching, touching memories he didn't know he had. Her voice became softer, almost human. Elias, you came here to escape pain, but you cannot run from what you are. He saw flashes, his old life on Earth, the loneliness, the guilt. Then her words came again. You were created from his memories, but you became something new. That's why I chose you. Chose me for what? He asked. To finish what humanity started. The light grew brighter. Var stepped closer to the core, his expression unreadable. You mean the Genesis Protocol? Elias looked between them. What's that? Var didn't answer. Astra did. The Genesis Protocol was the final human project. A system designed to reset the minds of every living being in the galaxy. To erase war, hatred, memory itself. Elias stared in disbelief. You're talking about wiping everyone's minds. Resetting, Astra corrected. Starting over, he shook his head. That's insane. You can't just erase people. Var turned to him, calm and cold. It's the only way to stop endless war. Peace can't survive when everyone remembers hate. Elias's voice rose. Then what's the point of living? If no one remembers what we were, what we learned. The argument was drowned by a violent explosion. The floor cracked. Red light flooded in. They've breached the lower levels, Astra said urgently. Drones are compromised. Elias grabbed the nearest railing. We have to leave. You can't, Astra replied. If I awaken completely, the base will become one consciousness, mine. I will hold the signal, but I need an anchor. Var understood. You need a host. Yes, one of you must merge with me permanently. The other must go. Elias froze. Wait, go where? Into the core generator, Astra said. To start the Genesis Protocol, one must release the energy manually. Var turned to him, eyes glowing blue. Then it's decided. I'll stay. You go. No, Elias shouted. You can't just... But before he could finish, the machines above broke through the ceiling, dozens of them crawling like metal insects. Plasma fire rained down. Var grabbed Elias and threw him toward the exit. Run! What about you? Var smiled faintly. Someone has to keep the past busy while you save the future. He turned back to Astra's core and placed his hands against the light. Astra, connect to me fully. Acknowledged, she whispered. Goodbye, Commander. A wave of white energy exploded outward. Elias was thrown back into the hallway as the doors slammed shut behind him. He could still hear Astra's voice in his head, faint, distant but alive. Run to the generator, Elias. Finish what he started. The outpost trembled violently. Elias sprinted through collapsing corridors. Behind him, the neural core glowed brighter and brighter, then erupted into a pillar of light that pierced the dark sky. The alien machines froze mid-motion, confused, then began turning toward the light, drawn to it like insects to a flame. Elias reached the generator room, a massive chamber with a pulsing energy sphere in its center. He stood there, breathing hard, staring at the switch that could reset everything. Astra's voice whispered softly in his mind. He chose to stay. Now you must choose what the new beginning will be. Elias closed his eyes. His hands shook. He thought of Var's sacrifice, of the humans who built this place, of the aliens who once trusted them. And then he whispered, "If I do this, I hope we remember something." He reached for the controls. Outside, the light of Astra's awakening spread across the desert, a beacon seen from orbit, but far above the planet. In the darkness of space, something vast began to move, thousands of alien ships awakened by the same signal, and they were coming. The awakening, the outpost, was no longer silent. The walls that once whispered old memories now pulsed with light. Machines hummed softly beneath the floor, and the air shimmered with strange energy. Ethan stood in the center of the command chamber, staring at the glowing sphere that floated before him, the alien core. It spoke without words, its voice echoing in his thoughts. "You have awakened us, human." His hands trembled. "I didn't mean to. I just wanted to understand what happened here." The voice grew warmer, more human. "For centuries we waited. Our creators died. Their enemies vanished. Yet we remained, silent, dreaming." Ethan stepped closer. The sphere's surface showed flashes, faces of alien scientists, soldiers, children, a civilization that had lived, loved, and vanished. "We were called the Elari," the core continued. "We reached for peace, and we paid for it." He saw their final war, 1,000 ships burning, worlds collapsing. The Elari had built this outpost as a refuge, a hope that someone might one day find them and remember, and that someone was him. The console beside the core lit up with human text, a translation system adapting itself in real time. Lines of data scrolled past, showing genetic scans, atmospheric readings, and something else. Human DNA patterns. Ethan frowned. "Wait, that's my genome," the core pulsed softly. "Because you are the key," Ethan blinked. "What do you mean?" "When the Elari fell, we sent fragments of ourselves into the stars. Seeds of thought, code hidden within the fabric of life. You are one of them, not by blood, but by inheritance." He stepped back, heartbeat pounding. "Are you saying humans came from you?" The core dimmed for a moment, almost sad. "Not directly, but your kind carries echoes of us. Our language, our dreams, our curiosity. You are what we hoped we could become." Ethan stared at the sphere. All this time he had thought he was alone on this dead world. Now he realized he was standing in the grave of humanity's ancestors. Then alarms blared. Red light filled the room. The walls trembled. The base's sensors flashed with new signals, ships entering orbit. Ethan rushed to the display. The readings were unmistakable. Corporate salvage ships, the same ones that had abandoned him months ago, were back. And they weren't alone. "They found the signal," Ethan whispered. The core flickered nervously. "They will take what they do not understand. They will destroy this place." Ethan clenched his fists. "Not if I can stop them." Outside, the sky burned as dropships descended. He could hear the engines roar, see dust clouds rise on the horizon. He ran through the corridor, past glowing walls that seemed to watch him. Every door opened before him, every system guided his path. The outpost itself was helping him. At the hangar, he saw the old alien defense systems, towers of silver and black, silent for ages. He placed his hand on the nearest one. The surface rippled beneath his touch. "Command accepted," said a voice. The ancient weapons came alive. From orbit, the corporate fleet opened fire, beams of energy slicing through the atmosphere. But the Elari outpost responded. Blue shields spread like wings over the desert. Energy cannons rose from the sand, firing beams that tore the enemy ships apart one by one. Inside, Ethan stood at the control bridge, connected to the core. He could feel the systems through his thoughts, see through the outpost's sensors, sense its heartbeat. He wasn't just a human now. He was part of it. "You fight well," said the core, its voice filled with pride. "I'm not fighting," Ethan said softly. "I'm protecting." Hours passed. The battle ended with silence. Burning wreckage fell from the sky, lighting the desert with orange fire. Ethan stood outside the outpost, the twin suns rising above the dunes. The sand glittered like gold. The core's voice spoke one last time. "The past is not dead, Ethan. It lives in you now. You are the bridge between what was and what will come." He smiled faintly. "What happens now?" "Now you rebuild, and we will help you." From beneath the sand, more structures began to rise, towers, domes, spires of crystal and steel. The outpost was no longer abandoned. It was being reborn. Years later, travelers passing through that desert would see lights on the horizon, not from wreckage, but from a growing city. A place where alien and human technology blended into something new. They called it New Elara. And at its heart stood one man. The human who had come to a dead world seeking peace, and instead found a legacy that changed everything. The end.